Hey guys, today you're going to be playing Battleship, so you're going to open up a blank workbook and I'm just going to kind of go through these instructions here in front of you. So go ahead and save the file as Battleship, and you're going to go down here where it says Sheet 1 and rename it Enemy Ship, and then you're going to click the little plus sign and rename that My Ships. You can either do this, it doesn't really matter which, it says to return to the enemy ships. You're going to adjust the column width and row height. You know how to do this, but let's go over it. Put a cursor over column A and drag to J. So remember, you get that thick black down arrow, you press and drag to J. Go over here to format column width and make it 50, I don't know what 50 pixels is, so let's go ahead and just go here and make this smaller. So you're going to go back to A and make it 50 pixels, or you could just type like 6.4. Either way. So over here in format column width, you could type 6.4. And then you're going to do the same thing to 1 through 10. So you're going to hover your mouse over number 1, drag down to 10. Guys, remember that this should select the whole row. That's like 16,000 cells. And then go back up here between 1 and 2 and make it 50 pixels. So this one you're going to actually make bigger. All right. Again, you could have gone to format row height and typed in the 6.4. Okay, so now we need to show our grid. So it says to highlight A1 through J10. So again, this time we're going to put our big white plus sign in the middle of cell A1. Click and drag to J10. Okay, release. And we're going to color this, fill those light blue like water, essentially here. Okay, and I think it's easier after setting fill the grid lines disappear. So I think it's easiest to kind of add back your all borders. That way you can see the division between the cells. Okay. So we're going to go up here even though there's no text in it yet, and we're going to center the text in the middle up and down and center them right and left. Okay, and let's just go ahead and change the font color. I don't think it says to do this, to maybe red so you can see it, or what's it, yeah, or I guess black. Let's just keep it black. Never mind, sorry. Or you can change it to white, either way. Alright, so that is set up. So then we're going to go here between A and 1 to select the whole sheet. And remember, that copies your formatting as well. So you're going to do Control C to copy, go to My Ships, and do Control V. Okay, make sure that you're in the My Ships. So you don't need to do any more work. If you still have the marching ants around enemy ships, just go up here to Escape and press it, and those should go away. Your work should be done in My Ships for right now, and this is where you don't want your opponent to see what you're doing. So it says right here to save it, so let's go ahead and save it as Battleship, and you're going to create these ships here. Remember that your ships cannot be diagonal and they can't cross over one another. So let me just show you kind of, so it says your aircraft carrier is 6 squares and orange. So I'm just going to highlight 6 squares here and fill them orange. Okay, and then I'll go ahead to 5 square yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 4 square light green. So if you want to do this with me with your screen kind of turn, if you do turn your screen please don't just turn the base. Don't turn the screen. Those cords come out of the back, and sometimes that's hard to fix. 2 light gray. And then 1 light red, that is 2 squares. Okay, so you need to record what it is that your opponent is calling for you on my ship. So let's say that the person I'm playing against says, hey, Mrs. Cruz, G2. I would say hit, but I need to mark that they've hit that on my screen, because if I don't, then I don't know when they've sunk a ship. So I would say hit, and then I would call something on them. And let's say they say, oh, I say, okay, John, G1, miss. Okay, so then I'd go back, and let's say that he calls H2. I would say hit. I say, John, H2, and he says hit. All right, so then I would go here, and he calls to me, I2, I would mark hit, and J2 hit. Again, let's act like we're going back and forth. And he says F2, and I say miss, and he's like, I didn't sink anything. All I have to say is no, you did not sink anything. Because he doesn't need to know where my ships are, so then he would need to figure that out. Now let's say he figures it out and calls H3 and H4. Then at that point I would say, hey, you have sunk my submarine. So then I would mark that on here that he has sunk that by filling it black. So that I know, or I have had, yeah, I would fill it black there. This is going to be a little hard for someone to know kind of which ones they've sunk. So let's say again that I say H3 and he says, hit, Ms. Cruz, you've sunk my cruiser. I then, on my enemy ships, I then mark what it is that I have hit. So that way I know that I've sunk his 2 cruisers. So then that's what they should mark on theirs. They should mark these 3 gray, so that way they know these 3 go together and that they've sunk that one. So again, you need to mark not only what you call for your opponent on the enemy ships, but you also need to mark what they're calling on yours. So that way too, again, if they're like F2, you could say, hey, you already called that. And they might say, no, oh, wait, did I call F3? No, you didn't call that. Oh, I marked F3. So that way they can kind of know, or whatever, you're kind of helping them out. But so keep safe, just play this today. Again, you don't want your opponent to see you set up. So some of you guys might need to move computers to play against a person that you're sitting by. That's it. Hopefully you'll have fun with it today, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow.